In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to go over exactly how I locked in at the start of year 11 to go from getting C's and D's to making the greatest academic comeback in getting a 97 plus ATAR against all odds. And if you do this yourself, you will also succeed. If you can't sit there for 12 minutes and watch this video, then you should give up right now because you're cooked either way. Let's do it. There are two things you need to do to lock in and achieve the ATAR that you want and make an academic comeback. I know this to be true because when I did this, I went from being a D student all my life to achieving a 97 plus ATAR against all odds. Like when I achieved this result, people were absolutely shocked. Like, how did I do this? And the way I did this was by locking the F in. All right, let's jump into it. So the first thing you need to do to lock in is a digital lock-in. Right, that's the first thing you need to do, which is to lock in on a digital basis. Right, and the way you do this is the following. Number one, delete all your social media apps. Yes, you heard what I said, right? I want you to delete Instagram. I want you to delete TikTok, and I want you to delete Snapchat if you even use that anymore. Who does? But anyway, you just want to delete everything. Okay, now I know what you're thinking, but Lukeman, I need Instagram, you know, I need TikTok. No, you don't. You do not need it. I promise you. Okay, if you message your friends there, tell them to message you on iMessages. If you can't do iMessages, tell them to message you on WhatsApp. I don't care what your reason is. You do not need Instagram. You do not need TikTok. You do not need Snap. You don't need any of that garbage, right? So delete it completely. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do. And I promise you, once you do this, your life will change. Like, you're going to think so clearly, you're going to be more happier, just everything will change, okay? The second thing you need to do is you need to organize your computer, right? So if your computer has like 100 million tabs open every time you open it, if you have like files all over your desktop, if when you open your, folders, it's like the garbage everywhere, you want to fix that, right? Because all of that leads to a cluttered mind. So I want you, to the best of your ability, to just organize your computer, make folders, delete things you don't need to be there, get rid of the tabs and all that stuff, right? And number three, I want you to strictly watch long form stuff for entertainment during your breaks. In other words, no freaking scrolling, okay? One of the biggest reasons why we can't lock in is because your brain is absolutely fried like a monkey. That's why. And the reason why it's fried like a monkey is because of your scrolling. I want you to have a strict rule. No scrolling at all. During year 11 and 12, I literally did not scroll. I'm not joking. During year 11 and 12, I did not scroll. I did not scroll. What I did instead during my breaks was I'd watch a movie, I'd watch a Netflix series. Now you might be thinking, but isn't that just the same thing? No, it's not, because a Netflix series or a movie or a documentary, they're long, meaning they're not going to fry your attention span. In fact, it's probably going to help it, right? So from now on, if you want to have a break, if you want to rest, if you want to enjoy your time, you're not going to reinstall Instagram. You're not going to scroll for 30 minutes. No, you're going to watch a movie, a Netflix series, a documentary, and that's that. Okay? So that's the first thing you want to do. Digital lock-in, delete all social media apps. You know what? I'd like to say any other distracting apps. It's not just social media. So if you play games on your phone, delete that crap. If you, whatever is the most distracting, just delete it completely. All right? Now, when you first do this, you're going to feel very weird. You're going to feel like, oh, I can't do this. No. Trust me, persevere. You can do it. You need to push through. And I promise your life will change, okay? And when it comes to deleting all the social media apps, what you can do is you can set yourself days where you can reinstall them. So if you have a rest day throughout the week, you can reinstall them only on that rest day. You need to be strict with yourself. If you're not strict with yourself, then no one else will be. No one will care, okay? So what you can do is you can delete them, but on a rest day, maybe it's Friday or whatever your day of rest is, you can reinstall them, but that's it. Apart from that, you're deleting them, okay? So that's the first thing you want to do. You want to have a complete digital lock-in. The second thing you want to do is a physical lock-in, right? And the first thing you want to do here is you want to find your goal and why you want it, then plan, okay? So you can't just say that you want to do well in school. You can't just say you can't just lock in when you don't know why you're locking in. That's a very big, very important thing to understand. You don't lock in for no reason. Like, it's going to be almost impossible to lock in when you don't know why you're locking in, right? So what I need you to do is I need you to figure out why you need to do this. Okay, you want to achieve a 90 ATAR? Why? So you can get into the university you want? Why you want to do that? So you can make your parents proud? Why do you want to do that? Oh, because they've done all these things for you? Boom. So you want to go very, very deep and you want to figure out why it's worth doing all this, because the person who knows their why can endure anyhow. right? If you're ever wondering, like, how do people lock in so much? How do people study so hard? How are people just so dialed in? It's because they have a very strong why. They know why they're doing it. And that's why, no matter what pain it is, they can do it. But if you're trying to lock in to make your friends, see you as like cool or whatever, I don't know what reason you would want, then of course you're not going to be able to do it, right? So sit down, figure out what you want, what ATAR do you want, what do you want to study, why do you want to do it, who are you trying to do it for, who are you doing it for, blah, blah, blah. And then you want to make a plan. In other words, how much you're going to be studying per day. How are you going to be studying? All these things, just plan out everything, right? The second thing is you're going to create a routine and live off your calendar, okay? So I want you to lock in a routine. What time are you going to wake up? What time are you going to sleep? What time are you going to exercise? After school, how long is your break going to be? And then I want you to live off a calendar, meaning you do not do anything without first planning it, right? So let's say you plan on studying on, Thursday at this specific time. Don't put it in your mind. Live off the calendar. Block it in. Create a routine. And what's most important when it comes to creating a routine is you want to lock in your sleep first, right? Because your night routine is what determines your morning. And the way you do that is by figuring out what time you want to sleep, what time you want to wake up, right? Me personally, I woke up at 5 to 6 a.m. every single day, and I went to sleep around 9 to 10:30, okay? So lock that in. And that's very important. I'd recommend you write this down. Don't put it mentally. Write it down on a physical paper, on a Google Doc, or just put it somewhere, okay? Number 3 is you want to say no to almost everything. Now, this is something that's very, a lot of people are going to be too scared to do this. But when your friends ask you to go out and watch a movie with them, you say no. When your friends want you to go out for some concert, you say no. When your friends ask you to do something, you say no. When someone invites you out, you say no. When someone tells you to hop on the game, you say no. When someone tells you to come to their house, on a Thursday night to just hang out, you say no. Say no to almost everything, right? Because you need to be fully focused on this specific goal and you need to stay locked in. And the way you do that is by saying no. One of the biggest problems people have nowadays is that you say yes to everything. You say yes to everything. Your friend wants you to hang out? Yeah, sure. Want to watch a movie? Yeah, let's do it. I want to go somewhere? Yeah, let's do it. Like, you say yes to everything, but I want you from now on to say no to everything, okay? You have to say no to everything. And by the way, I don't just say this. This is what I did, right? I had so many times my friends invited me to watch a movie. I said no. Come to a party? No. No, 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 no. Just start saying no more, okay? Number 4 is set a time frame. Now, this is very important. You can't stay locked in forever. That's the truth. So you can't stay locked in for the whole of year 12 or the whole of year 11. That doesn't work, because if you try to do that, you're going to become very weird and you're going to pretty much end up burning out to the point where you can't do anything. So you don't want to do that. You want to lock in for specific time frames. So that's what I did. So just to give an example of this, I locked in always at the start of the term all the way to when the exams are finished, right? So that's not forever. That's like a few weeks, like 6 weeks or whatever. That's when I'd lock in. But then after I finished my exams, I'd rest and not lock in. I'd also lock in when I had like a big exam coming up. I'd lock in during the holidays. Like, you want to lock in for specific time frames. You don't lock in forever, because if you lock in forever, you're going to end up, like I said, becoming crazy. Yeah. Number 5 is fix your sleep, fix your diet, and do exercise. This is very important. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single day. Right? Locking in isn't about having 4 hours of sleep and being like, yeah, hustle, who needs to sleep? No, it's actually by fixing your sleep, right? So embrace going to sleep earlier. Like, go to sleep early. When I did this, I'd have people say to me like, what the hell, you sleep so early? You're like an old man, right? People literally called me an old man for sleeping early, which is crazy, right? It shows what we've come to, right? Fix your sleep. Get minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Sleep early, wake up early, yeah? Number 2 is fix your diet. Don't eat random shit that's full of sugar, right? Fix your diet. Don't eat sugary cereals for breakfast. Don't eat some random chocolate every second. Don't eat like crap, okay? Eat proper healthy food. And finally, do some exercise, right? Exercise minimum 3 times per week. You don't have to do something crazy. Just go for a walk, go for a run, lift some weights, whatever it is. And finally, the last thing you need to do to lock in is read books. Okay, I want you to replace scrolling and entertainment with books. Okay, you don't have to read nonfiction. You can read fiction. You can read nonfiction. Doesn't matter what you read, but read. Okay, reading sharpens your mind. It makes you smarter. It expands your mind. It makes you more focused. There's so many benefits of reading. So embrace reading books. And once again, You don't have to read nonfiction. Read a nice fiction book, right? Search up like, and the way you can do this is by searching up like a genre that you like. For example, if you like watching horror movies, read Stephen King's books, for example, right? You will like them. Read books so you can stay more locked in, okay? And there you have it. That is how you lock in like a 95 plus ATAR student and make an academic comeback. Okay. Now there's two types of people watching this video. The first type of person is looking at this saying, what the hell? I'm not doing this crap. No way. And then there's a second type of person who's being inspired and will do what I say here. If you're the second person, well done. You are going to succeed. If you're the first type of person, then don't cry when you do bad. By doing this, I was able to really, really defy all odds. I had all odds against me. I went to a 300 plus ranked public school. I never done well in school. I always done bad. Like, I had so many things against me, and yet I was able to succeed in the end, right? How? Because I locked in. And one other thing I will say before I end this video is do not try to find the shortcut out. Don't try to find the quick hacks to things. Work hard, study harder than everyone. Don't try to be like those people who lie online, who say, oh, this is how I got a 99 plus ATAR by studying 2 hours a day and doing all these things. They're lying to you. I promise you, they're lying to you. If you're a student right now who's getting C's and D's and wants to make an academic comeback that just shocks everyone, you need to lock in, you need to grind, you need to put in the effort. You can't get a shortcut out, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking to make an academic comeback and really, really go to that next level, check the first link in the description, and I'd love to see if we're a good fit so I can mentor you and help you throughout your journey. But either way, follow what I said, and I promise you your life will change faster than you think. I'll see you in the next one.